Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come on and I guess I could kind of say this was an extension of my top 5 series, but it was honestly just a coincidence that there was 5 that I chose. But as we are getting into the much colder months, depending on where you live, you have been in the colder months 4 months now. And honestly, where I live, it decides to be cold one day and then it decides to be in the upper 60s one day, but that's Tennessee for you. So I'm hoping that this year, at least Christmas will be not 70 degrees because the last 2 years it has been, and that just does not feel right. But if you are in a cold environment right now, being the winter or almost the winter, or if you just have super dry skin, I think you're going to enjoy this video because I wanted to talk about my favorite foundations for the winter time, for when my skin is a little bit drier, a little bit tighter, overall not very moisturized feeling. Just to clarify real quick, if you're not aware, my skin is normal. I don't ever get dry patches. I will peel every once in a while from my retinol, but I don't have dry patches as far as having dry skin. In the winter, it can feel tight, but that's pretty much the extent of my dryness. Otherwise, I'm pretty normal. I'm definitely not oily. These are the foundations that I pick from the most. So if you want to see what my happens to be top 5 foundations for winter time / winter skin, then just keep on watching. So, really and truly, I didn't even have to think along the lines of, what's the finish of the foundation, what's the wear time of the foundation, all that kind of stuff. I just sat down and said, okay, what do I really reach for when it's cold outside? When the weather is like it is now, which today it's super dreary, what do I reach for the most? And these are automatically the ones that I chose. So in no particular order, let's get started. I would have to say, I say no particular order, I am going to save my favorites for last. So let's just pick this one. This one I used in my, what video was that? Oh, my go-to makeup look that I uploaded a few videos back. And this is the Juice Beauty Phyto Pigments Flawless Serum Foundation. So this is in the color medium tan. It's a little bit dark for me. I made it work in that video, and I can make it work depending on kind of where I am in my self-tanning process. But the reason that I do reach for this when I am a little bit darker due to my self-tan is because it is a serum consistency and it is so lightweight. That's what I look for in the winter. So many people say, oh, it's summertime, I want to wear super glowy foundations. I am completely opposite from that. In the summer, my sweat is gonna make any foundation look glowy. So I tend to reach for more mattifying foundations so that they hold up throughout the day. In the winter is when I really like to get those lightweight serum glowy foundations out because I know I'm not gonna have to worry about them sweating off. And typically when it's a serum, it's a little bit more moisturizing, at least for me. And when you're glowing, you look moisturized as well. So that's kind of like my philosophy and my reasoning for picking the foundations that I do. So again, this one is very lightweight. It is glowy. You can go look at that video and see the finish of it. I did have a illuminating primer on underneath it, so that helps too. I'm going to swatch these so you can kind of see the color. But that's the medium tan right there. So you can see it's a little bit darker, but you will be able to tell in that video that I can make it work again on my self-tanning days. So it's just so lightweight. It's very clean ingredients. Juice Beauty is an organic line. I could put it on with my fingers. I could put it on with my brush. I do prefer those two over a beauty blender because the beauty blender with serum foundations, in my opinion, just sucks up way too much product. So love that. Love the finish. Love the feel. Love the foundation. Do you see this? I have no idea. I took a boxing class this morning and I think it must have happened there. So just ignore the bruise that came from nowhere. I will say real quick before I start talking on the next one, you're going to be able to see that this does dry down a tad darker. So I would think about that when you are choosing a color. All right, the next one I don't talk about near enough on my channel. And I think the reason is because when I got my first bottle, I did a full brand tutorial, well, kind of full brand on this brand. I used the foundation. It was a little bit off in color for me. and it just took me a while to purchase the right color. But this is the Glow Skin Beauty Luminous Liquid Foundation SPF 18. Again, it's a luminous foundation. It's very lightweight. I do plan on doing a full face with Glow Skin Beauty soon because they are in my top 5 favorite brands. So I will be using this foundation in that video. But the color that I got first was Tahini. And it just pulled a little, this does have a pump, it's in a glass bottle. I will have already put the price down below. It pulls a little green on my skin, which may not even be evident in the swatch, and I could still make it work for me. That's Tahini right there. It just has more of an olive undertone than my skin has. I have more of a warm undertone than I do an olive. Again, I could still use it, but I did end up picking up the color Naturel, which is much more of, it's lighter than Tahini, but it's also much more of a neutral undertone. So if you are wondering, so that's Naturel, Tahini, and then that's the Juice Beauty. Sometimes I will mix the two together, and in the winter, most of the time I just use the Naturel, but I'm really glad I got that color, and that's probably the one I'll be using in my full face video. But I'm so glad I got that next color because I really do reach for this a lot. It is very luminous. Okay, it does say it's a luminous foundation. If you can only take a certain amount of luminosity before you just feel greasy, this is not going to be the foundation for you. But if you like a super dewy look, a super fresh, glowing, luminous look, then you will like this foundation. I find that it lasts all day on me. Even in the summer when I set it, I don't have an issue with it coming, you know, breaking apart. Again, it's lightweight. It's a clean brand. It just goes on so nice. It's oh, so pretty on the skin. I really need to use this even before that full face video because I want y'all to be reminded of how gorgeous it is on the skin. So again, that's the Glow Skin Beauty Luminous Liquid Foundation. Okay, the third foundation we're going to talk about is one that I recently did a full review on. So I will put that in a card so that I don't have to talk too long on this. If you want to hear more, you can go to that. But this is the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. This stuff is magic in a bottle. It is so good. It is so convenient. I love the packaging, really skinny, very compact, great for travel. In fact, I'm going to Florida the day after Christmas, and this might be one of the few foundations that I take because of how convenient it is. So you do have to shake it up really well because it is an oil. I got the color number 4. They do, I believe, only have 10 colors, but they are very forgiving, and according to Kosas, cover up to 30 skin tones. So one thing I like about this so much is that you really need such a small amount to cover your entire face. I use at the most 5 drops. I like to apply this with either my fingers or a brush. And that's it right there. That's the color number 4. Being an oil, I do find it's a little bit on the luminous side, but it can be matted down fairly easily with powder. And it can pretty much be manipulated with a primer or a powder as to what you want the finish to be all throughout the day. I don't find that it changes throughout the day. I will say that this is one of the few that I really enjoy even without a primer. There's one more that I'm going to talk about that I find works almost better without a primer than with, but I have used a primer with it as well, and every one that I've tried with it's really worked very well over it. Doesn't enhance my pores. It's just a very skin-like, super lightweight foundation. Out of all the ones that I'm going to talk about, this is by far the lightest weight foundation I have ever used on my skin, really out of any that I've tried. You cannot feel it on the skin. It's nothing. It's like air. So good. If you have ever been interested in trying a product like this, I highly recommend this one. It is so good. So again, that is the color number 4. I did say in my review that I do feel like it's not the most moisturizing foundation, at least not what I would expect from something that is an oil, because this is a tinted face oil. It doesn't even have foundation in the name. I felt somewhat tight throughout the day, but as I have worn it even more since that review, it's happened a little bit when it's super cold outside, but other than that, I don't find an issue with it, and it certainly doesn't dry me out. So, I really can't recommend this enough. So that's the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. Now, the last 2 are going to be ones that I kind of talk about together. They're actually the ones I have on my face right now. In fact, I wore this in my last video and someone commented saying, oh my goodness, your skin looks fantastic. What do you have on? And I had listed 2 foundations in the description box because I always like to put what I'm wearing. She was like, do you have this one or that one? I'm like, I have both of them because I love mixing these foundations. And it is the Josie Maran Vibrancy Argan Oil Foundation and the Oxygenetix Oxygenating Foundation. I feel like I have just talked about these endlessly because I love them so very much. Out of all of them, this combination is my favorite by far. I have used it so very much this past month. It probably will end up in my favorites. I think it's even ended up in my favorites like, was it maybe the month before last? I can't stop wearing this combination. Josie Maran Argan Oil Foundation has always been a favorite of mine. I had run out of the first bottle that I got. I kind of took a break because Lord knows I don't need another foundation. And I ended up getting it in a sale a few months ago. And I am so glad I did because I don't think I'll ever be without this foundation. It's gorgeous on its own. I have the color Mystical RG30. And this is more of my winter color. I think I was in Adventurous in the summer the last time I bought this. So that's it right there. That's Mystical RG30. This is, RG is neutral. The Adventurous was warm and it was fine. I just wanted to try neutral for some reason. And then the Oxygenetix Oxygenating Foundation. This is a kind of like a post-procedure safe foundation for your skin. It has healing properties to it. It has skincare properties to it. It looks amazing on the skin. It is only a 0.5 ounce bottle and it is fairly expensive. But what I do is I take 1 pump of the Josie Maran and about half a pump of the Oxygenetix. This one is more of my summer color, which is another reason I like to mix them right now so that it will work. I do want to possibly get a winter color in the Oxygenetix. Not being able to like swatch them kind of makes me nervous, but I think I may just wing it. I do have cream as well. I feel like it's a little too peach for me, but maybe I'll try to mix those two and see if I can get it to work. But this one is the color Almond. So that's it right there, Oxygenetix Almond. So obviously this one is an oil-based foundation, so it's going to be super moisturizing. It is going to have more of a luminous finish. This one, the first ingredient is aloe gel, which is very moisturizing, very healing, and also lends to a more luminous finish. But as you can see, I use the Kjaerweis pressed powder today. I mean, I can make it as luminous as I want, or I can really mattify it down. I find the Lawless powder works really good to mattify it down. Sorry, that was my phone. But not look too cakey looking. I like Luminous. I've had a couple of comments lately saying that I'm too glowy. And I think that is, it really is just a personal preference. Makeup in general is a personal preference. I completely understand if you're someone that doesn't want to look like they're sweating all day. I am not. I like to look that luminous because I find that when I get done working out, if I've had a really good like sweat session, I still have my makeup on, I find that's when my skin looks the best on me personally. So I think, why not just start that way? But the joy and the beauty of most of these foundations, but especially these two together, is that you can manipulate it to be what you want. If you want to matte it down with a powder, you can. If you want to put a powder on it that's not so mattifying to look even more glowy, you can. I will say that I do find that it does need a powder, at least the Josie Maran Vibrancy. Not so much the Oxygenetix, but this one does. It's just a little, it moves around a little too much on me without a powder, so I do recommend one. This one I like to put on most with a brush. This one I find you get the best coverage and honestly the best look if you're using it by itself with your fingers. I do have a whole review on this I will put up in a card, but when you mix them together, I just like to use a brush. So I love those foundations together. Again, it's probably what you've seen on my face for like the past 8 videos. So that is going to wrap up my very favorite wintertime foundations. My phone is making so much noise. Hopefully you got some new ideas. I do kind of feel like I've been talking about these foundations a lot lately, so sorry if it's been repetitive, but it is genuine because that is how much I love these foundations. And I'm looking at all the other ones I have to choose from, and some of them I'm not choosing from because I don't have the right color for the winter time. But in all honesty, these really are my top 5. So hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure and let me know what your favorite winter foundation is down in the comment section below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.